everybody, Razorblade Mango here, and I just want to give my thoughts on the latest DC Universe animated original movie. God, that's a mouthful. Justice League versus Teen Titans. And I know this impressions video of it is very late, considering the movie came out in late March. The problem is I've had a tough time acquiring a copy of it, because usually I get them from Redbox, and Redbox has been pretty stingy about having this available near me. But thankfully yesterday I got pretty lucky, and I was able to get a copy, and I finally sat down and watched it today. And I gotta say, I did not like this one. I've said recently, I think in the Justice League, I think it was Throne of Atlantis I talked about, or one of them, is that I figured that this series was starting to die down, because I just couldn't get into the last few of them, and a lot of them recently have just been underwhelming for me. I mean, something like Son of Batman I thought was very mediocre. I thought Throne of Atlantis was kind of shitty, and just other ones haven't really made an impression on me beyond the Batman Return, the Dark Knight Return stuff. And I thought that was going to turn around this year, particularly, because I actually really liked Batman Bad Blood, despite its really stupid title. I thought that one not only was interesting on an action level, but a thematic and character level. I thought it was very interesting the way it delved into the mind of not only Batman, but Damian Wayne and Nightwing, as a matter of fact. I thought it was very interesting, and it brought in other people like Batwing and Batwoman, and they're pretty cool. So, and that's probably it's one of my favorite movies of 2016 so far, and I was hoping Justice League versus Teen Titans would kind of continue that trend, but sadly not. Mostly because this movie, it fails to convey. It falls into a very common film trap, where it's show don't tell. And this movie does a lot of talking. It does a lot of montages. It wants you to think that Damian Wayne is growing as a person, and that he's starting to learn how to become a unit with the Teen Titans. My problem with the movie is that you don't really get a sense of that. You don't feel that, because a lot of the movie feels rushed. It feels like they just want to get through the talking just to get to the next action scene. Like, the movie literally opens with an action scene, and right from the beginning, the pacing is just really off and weird, and you just don't get that feeling of good character development. Not like Batman Bad Blood, but this is just weak. It's weak character development. It's almost non-existent, and I was really disappointed, because I was actually looking forward to seeing how they were going to continue the story of Damian Wayne, but they kind of went the easy way out. They went the whole, well, Damian Wayne, it's a very cliche story where he's going to join this team. He's initially going to be hostile towards them, and we're going to have a montage of him begrudgingly having fun with them, and then he'll just magically be like, oh, yeah, I'm on their side. Because there comes a point in the movie at the end where he has to make a decision in order to embrace his old heritage or to accept his new life as the Teen Titans. And, obviously he's going to accept to be a part of the Teen Titans, but it's not a believable transition from how we see him in the beginning to how we see him at the end. It's just they tell you, oh, Damian's changed now. Damian's going to be more friendly. Damian's going to be more of a team player. And I didn't believe it, to be honest. I just was like, I don't believe you. I don't believe you that this is a not only logical, but interesting transition from being a loner to being a team player. It just doesn't work on the level, and that's the film's biggest problem. Besides that, I wasn't feeling the action this time around. And there's a lot of just some like weird references, like them trying to be like bring in adult humor with this, it just falls flat. There's, like I said, the action is kind of bland. It doesn't really have any, you know, high emotional stakes, or because in order to have a great action scene, needs to require emotional investment. And I always say this. It has to have three things. It has to have flow, has to have emotional investment, and it has to be, has to have clarity. It has to be shot well to where you understand what's going on. And, it's shot well. You see obviously what's going on, but it doesn't have a flow, and it doesn't have the emotional investment. And honestly, like, those two things are huge when it comes to action scenes, at least in my opinion. And if I'm not emotionally invested in what's happening, like with Batman Bad Blood, where I was interested in what was going on, and it was fascinating seeing Batman and Nightwing and Damian and Batwoman fight their enemies. It was cool. But this time around, just the action, it's just the usual stuff where it's the Justice League attacks something, and they attack like the Legion of Doom at the beginning, and you always have to have the quips from Flash and Cyborg, and it just feels very routine, very, very just same old stuff. It's like the Marvel movies recently. Well, it's like the Avengers Marvel movies, where it feels bland. It feels the same. So, yeah, I just didn't dig this one, and I'm really hoping The Killing Joke is awesome. I hope it is, because I'm really looking forward to it. Of course, it has Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill in it, and I'm glad that they're not doing the two-parter thing, that they're just going to keep it one movie. That I am excited, very excited to check out, but Justice League Teen Titans, especially since this is the same director, Sam Liu, who's done good stuff in the past with these films. He did that really interesting Justice League Gods and Monsters movie last year, which I thought was a very unique and different take on the Justice League, and it proved to be fascinating. Not fantastic, but it was very interesting. It was something different. And this, I don't feel like this is his fault. I feel like this is more of the writing. The writing this time around just isn't all that good. But considering he's directing the Killing Joke movie, I hope the writing is a lot better. And you can tell, hopefully the material for the Killing Joke, keeps it grounded, keeps it quality level. But you can tell with Justice League versus Teen Titans that this is something that it's an original script, that it's not based on any other. It's based on the New 51 characters, of course, but it's a new story, and it just doesn't have that structure, that good pacing that most of the stories that these films are based on have in the comics. It just doesn't. It just feels very sloppy. It feels like a throwaway movie, and it just didn't do anything for me. Alright, thank you guys for watching. If you like what you see, subscribe. Let me know what you thought of this movie, if you've seen it, if you're excited for any of the other DC animated movies coming out. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Have a good one.